Hey everyone, and welcome to the Tim Pearson Home Sales Team Market Advisor video for May of 2020. A lot has been happening in the world, and we want to keep you informed of how that impacts real estate locally and you. We are now in our third month of the coronavirus pandemic. Our team has been working remotely since the beginning of March, conducting daily team calls where we keep everyone informed of what's happening with each of our clients. And we're also doing lots of Zoom buyer and seller consultations. We're still visiting, showing, and listing properties, obviously with the proper PPE, but the market is definitely still moving. For comparison, we sell about 20 to 30 homes in the April to June time period over the past 4 years. That's about our average. And right now we have 23 under contract or closed during that period. So if you need to buy or sell a home, we don't want you to be afraid. We're here for you. We'll walk you through that process, albeit it's a little bit different, whenever you are ready. And we can start with a Zoom consultation where you stay in your home, we're in ours, everybody's safe, but we'll create a plan to get you to where you want to go. So let's talk about what is going on in real estate, how it's responding locally, and what to expect for the future. Interestingly, for the first time in many years, the demand for housing in Virginia is outpacing DC. So for example, in the district, look at this, inventory has risen above the 5-year moving average. There's more homes for sale than there have been this time of year. However, in Northern Virginia, active listings are 3,843, well below the 5-year moving average of 6,201. Isn't that interesting? That low inventory appears to be pushing home prices higher in Virginia. Now, as you can see in this chart, average home prices have continued to rise in Northern Virginia, even getting a little bit of a boost during the pandemic. So what's going on in the district? Well, I'm thinking people may be weary of moving into the city. We have agents we know outside of New York City that are experiencing a similar trend with lower activity in Manhattan and the suburbs seeing a boost in demand as buyers decide they need more space after being in lockdown for several months. But to understand the local economy of Northern Virginia, let's take a look at what's happening in Fairfax County, because that's actually the biggest sub-economy in the DC area. Believe it or not, according to US Census, Fairfax has the largest number of housing units, number of employed people, and total annual payroll of any county in the area, including DC as a whole. So as the biggest economy in the region, it's important for us to watch. And in this chart, which is the month supply over the past 5 years, and remember, 3 months is stable, we see that there is a 1-month supply of housing in Fairfax. That is incredible. That means if no new homes came on the market, it would take only 4 weeks for all available houses to go under contract, given the current number of houses that sell each week. When you have inventory that low, prices go up, as you can see in this chart. Now, with that dip of inventory, we see homes sell for a premium. And that's what we saw in these last few months. A contributing factor to that demand is that the number of active homes for sale is lower than it has been in 5 years for March and April, which is due to the virus, but it was also low before the virus hit. So obviously, the number of sellers decreased due to the virus, but so did the number of buyers. Then what we now see is that the number of sellers decreased more than the number of buyers, creating an even stronger seller's market. Okay, so that's interesting. Now, we typically see a peak in the number of new homes coming on the market in April. But this year, we saw a dip, as you can see here. And that led to even more demand, causing the average home in Fairfax County to sell for 101% of the asking price last month. Above asking was the average. That's incredible. If you are a seller, now is a great time to list your home for sale. So the market in Fairfax is strong and DC is a little softer, but each neighborhood is different. Each price point is different. Condos are different than single family homes. So we analyze this data for your particular home and neighborhood and help you create a plan based on real statistics to position you as a buyer or seller to make the best real estate decisions. And this is really one of the areas where our team stands out and our clients benefit. we're not just hoping, we're not just thinking, we're really looking at the data. Another area where we have really thrived is that all of our processes and systems were already digital, mobile, and scalable. So we haven't missed a step working from home. For our sellers, we had been doing virtual and video tours for a long time, which has now become the standard of excellence for listings. And we're continuing to move quick and provide unique marketing solutions where others are still honestly figuring it out. It's interesting to note that we saw a dramatic drop in showings as the pandemic hit, but properties that use these tools were still selling. And it appears now that showings have come back up to the average, and I think we've been through the worst of this pandemic from a showings perspective. Now, what's left to be seen is what happens to the national economy through stimulus, fiscal policy, and mortgage rates. Which brings me to the second thing I wanted to cover, which was the national economy. Look, in the past, I've given you summaries of surveys by economists about what the future holds, and they are all calling for a recovery in the second half of the year, but the reality is that they're all guessing. In a time like this, I think it's best to know and focus on what we really do know, not try to figure out what's unknowable. So what's unknowable is how long this will last and what Congress and the Fed are going to do in terms of stimulus. What's knowable are a few things. First, our economy was really, really strong going into this pandemic. Second, the DC area will very likely grow as a result of the government spending all this money. If you look back at the Great Recession and Great Depression, when the government spends money it doesn't have, DC as a city and the surrounding population grows because a disproportionate amount of that money comes to this area as the government has to grow to handle these programs, and jobs are created to distribute this money and manage them. I think DC, when you look at it as a major world capital compared to London, Sydney, Tokyo, it's still a small town and has a lot of room to grow. I think this is a great place to have real estate. Third, we are looking at record low interest rates. Just look at this graph, which plots the actual and projected mortgage rates from Freddie Mac. Frankly, I think these rates are going to continue to drive demand and support home prices. So, what can you do if you're a seller? First, because home inventory is low, I would recommend you call us now to figure out what the plan is for putting your house on the market if you're interested in selling anytime in the next 2 years. I keep beating that drum because, well, it's true. And second, you have to get comfortable with the virtual tools available. I invite you to check out our website at pearsonrealestate.com/virtual-tours. You can see how we're presenting our clients' homes digitally. And finally, you're going to have to manage your expectations that this socially distant process of selling homes is slightly slower than it used to be. Give us a call at 202-800-0800, and we can set up an online video conference with us in our home, you and yours. It's free, it's easy, it's coronavirus free, and we will help you create a plan to figure out how to use real estate to get to your next chapter of life. Until next month, let's keep all those affected by the coronavirus in our prayers. As I said in the beginning, we are going to get through this as a country, and until then, let's just take it day by day, follow the advice of experts, and continue to connect with one another, love on our neighbors, our family, even if it might just be temporarily over video call. We care about you. We're here for you. Please call us if you have any real estate needs. See you next month.